Here are today's top stories. Malacanang links the Liberal Party and the critics of the administration in the Oust Duterte plot. SWS survey shows joblessness in the country slightly declined. The Moro Islamic Liberation Front calls on stakeholders in the Bangsamoro region to uphold peaceful elections. And the Philippine Sports Commission hails the country's delegation at the Arafura Games in Australia.
Good day, I'm Rom Dulfo. Welcome to the PNA Newsroom. Our top story, Malacanang dropping a bombshell in the wake of Bicoy's surfacing. In a press con today, Malacanang tagged Liberal Party administration critics, Magdalo, and some media organizations of conspiring to discredit President Rodrigo Duterte. Presidential spokesperson Salvador Panelo said the media outfits named in the matrix were also included. Panelo yesterday hinted that apart from the people in the matrix, more groups are behind Bicoy and that they were waiting for the answers to their questions. Peter Jomel Advincula, who claims to be Bicoy, surfaced Monday, saying he can prove that his allegations against the presidential son, Paulo Duterte, former presidential aide Bongo, and attorney Manasseh Scarpio are true. The Integrated Bar of the Philippines, or IBP, declined the request of Peter Jomel Advincula, alias Bicoy, for free legal assistance. IBP President Abdiel Fajardo said that while its mandate is to assist the poor and the marginalized, it cannot take sides for or against any candidate or political party. Advincula asked the IBP for legal assistance in the filing of charges against Duterte allies, affiliated candidates, and certain individuals which he tagged in the illegal drug trade. Justice Secretary Menardo Guevara urged Advincula to substantiate the details of his allegations before the National Bureau of Investigation. The Philippine National Police says Peter Jomel Advincula was an information broker who gave false information to intelligence agencies. According to PNP Chief General Oscar Albayalde, Advincula sold information to the highest bidder and that he once charged up to 70,000 pesos in exchange for information on a Shabu laboratory in Bicol. However, investigators learned that the information he sold was wrong. Advincula had also claimed while he was in the National Bilibid prison that he was a member of a drug syndicate, but this was also disproved. Albayalde said Bicoy may have tricked people into believing his supposed information on President Duterte's links to illegal drugs. In other news, the Angeles City Regional Trial Court issued today a whole departure order against Police Lieutenant Colonel Rafael Dumlao. Dumlao is a top suspect in the abduction and murder of South Korean businessman Jiek Ju 3 years ago. The whole departure order comes after he was allowed to post a 300,000 peso bail for each of the 3 cases filed against him. Dumlao and his co-accused are facing charges of kidnapping for ransom with homicide, kidnapping, and serious illegal detention and carnapping. President Duterte urges to fast-track preparations for the 30th SEA Games. Meanwhile, a lawmaker cancels Senate hearing on the Bicoy case. More on these and other news around the metro from Janice Cave.
Senator Panfilo Lacson canceled today the Senate inquiry into the allegations made by Peter Jomel Advincula alias Bicoy. This after Senate President Tito Soto bared that Advincula was the same person who implicated former President Benigno Aquino III and other officials from the previous administration to narcotics. Lacson earlier set a congressional inquiry into Advincula's claims under the condition that he personally presents his sworn statement and evidence related to his accusations. In other news, the MMDA announced that the number coding scheme for provincial buses are suspended on Friday, May 10 and Tuesday, May 14. This is to ease travel for commuters going to the provinces to cast their votes. The number coding scheme for all public utility vehicles and private vehicles is automatically lifted on weekends, May 11 and 12, and on Election Day. Meanwhile, President Rodrigo Duterte on Monday ordered all concerned agencies to fast-track preparations for the hosting of the 30th Southeast Asian Games in the Philippines. This includes the immediate release of funds for the event. President Duterte stressed the need to show before the world that the country can host such a high-level sporting event. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Janice Cave.
Still to come, the latest SWS survey shows that joblessness in the country slightly declined from last year. The Moro Islamic Liberation Front calls on stakeholders in the Bangsamoro region to uphold peaceful elections. More on these when the PNA Newsroom continues.
Eleksyon na sa May 13, 2019. Mula 6 a.m. hanggang 6 p.m. ang botohan. Ang mga rehistradong botante ay boboto ng 12 senador at isang party list para sa national positions at isang miyembro ng House of Representatives, governor, vice governor, mayor, vice mayor at mga miyembro ng sangguniang panlalawigan, panlungsod at bayan para sa local positions. At bilang isang botante, ang pagboto ay dapat nating paghandaan. Narito ang gabay para sa tamang pagboto.
Bago pa man dumating ang araw ng eleksyon, pag-isipang mabuti ang mga kandidatong nais iboto. Mainam na gumawa na ng listahan ng mga iboboto. Para sa maalam na pagdedesisyon, alamin ang plataporma, track record, background, paninindigan sa mga issue at iba pang mahalagang impormasyon ukol sa mga kandidato. Sa araw ng eleksyon, pumunta sa iyong polling place. Mabuting magdala ng anumang valid ID. Hanapin ang inyong pangalan sa listahan ng botanteng nakapaskil at tandaan ang inyong precinct number at sequence number sa listahan. Lumapit sa electoral board at sabihin ang inyong pangalan, precinct number at sequence number. Sisiguraduhin ng electoral board ang inyong pagkakakilanlan gamit ang EDCVL o Election Day Computerized Voters List o sa pamamagitan ng Voter Registration Verification Machine o VRVM na gagamitin naman sa ilang mga piling lugar. Matapos masiguro ang iyong pagkakakilanlan at walang nakitang anumang marka ng indelible ink ang inyong mga kuko, bibigyan kayo ng isang balota. Suriin ang balota para masiguro na wala itong anumang marka o shade liban lamang sa pirma ng Electoral Board Chairperson.
Gamit ang marking pen, i-shade ng buo ang bilog sa tabi ng pangalan ng kandidatong iyong napili. Huwag mag-overvote o mag-shade ng lagpas sa dami ng kandidatong dapat iboto sa bawat posisyon.
Ipasok ang inyong balota sa VCM o Vote Counting Machine at pagkatapos, ibalik ang marking pen at ballot secrecy folder. Ipoproseso ng VCM ang inyong balota at makakas na ang inyong boto. Pagkatapos, magpiprint na ng voting receipt ang VCM kung saan nakasulat ang inyong mga binoto. Ang resibo ay itutupi ng Electoral Board at gugupitin. Bago ibigay ang resibo, lalagyan ng indelible ink ang kuko ng inyong kanang hintuturo. Suriin ang inyong voting receipt at pagkatapos ay ihulog ito sa nakatakdang lagayan at saka lumabas na ng polling place. Tandaan, bawal ilabas, iuwi, at kuhanan ng litrato ang resibo.
Simple, madali. Kaya sa May 13, 2019, sumama sa pagdesisyon para sa bayan sa pamamagitan ng pagboto. Dahil ikaw, ako at bawat botanteng Pilipino ay bahagi ng malayang bayan, malayang halalan.
Isang paalala mula sa COMELEC Voter Education Committee at ng himpilang ito.
The military continues its attacks against the legal fronts of the CPP-NPA. Major General Antonio Parlade Jr. pointed to the National Union of People's Lawyers, or NUPL, who claimed violation of their rights after being tagged as legal fronts of the CPP-NPA. Parlade said the NUPL only seeks publicity through their press releases and challenged them to denounce the CPP-NPA for all the atrocities they perpetrated through the years. He also criticized the media for crafting news in favor of the legal fronts of the CPP-NPA and against the government. He also slammed entities who hide under missionary work but provide support to the terrorist CPP-NPA. On May 3, the Supreme Court granted the petition of the NUPL for writs of amparo and habeas data for the protection of its members against red tagging and alleged attacks by the government. Unemployment rate in the country dropped for the second straight quarter. In a report by the social weather stations on Tuesday, around 9.4 million Filipinos, or 19.7%, have no jobs, which is lower than the 21.1% joblessness rate in December 2018. Malacanang says the survey shows how the administration considers labor as one of the engines that propels further growth and development in the country. Last April 10, the President signed Republic Act number 11261, or the First-Time Job Seekers Assistance Act. The Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas said they will continue to keep a close watch over price movements amid the inflation drop in April. More on this from Miguel Hill.
The Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas plans to keep a close watch over price movements amid the significant deceleration in the country's inflation. Inflation last April further decelerated to a 16-month low of 3% from the previous month's 3.3%. BSP Governor Benjamin Diokno said April's inflation rate is in line with expectations of within target rate of price increases for this and the next year. He noted that sustained upticks in the price of oil in the world market, as well as a possible prolonged El Nino, pose as upside risks to inflation rate, but these are expected to be offset by the dampening global growth. Diokno said the BSP shall consider all relevant data at its next monetary policy meeting on May 9 to ensure that all policies to maintain price stability will support balanced and sustainable growth of the economy. With inflation now back to within target levels, some analysts have projected the BSP to start cutting rates at any time. For the PNA Newsroom, I am Miguel Hill.
The Trade Union Congress of the Philippines, or TUCP, filed a wage increase petition seeking a 386 peso across-the-board increase for private sector workers in Central Visayas. TUCP President Raymond Mendoza on Tuesday said their proposal will raise the daily minimum wage in the region to 772 pesos, or double of what they are receiving today. Mendoza said the current minimum daily wage in the region can only buy meals that are poor in nutrition, such as instant noodles, canned sardines, egg and pandesal, and only rice. Based on the Pinggang Pinoy model of the Food and Nutrition Research Institute, forcing workers to eat less healthy food leads to malnutrition, which will have ill effects to business, government, and economy. Last April 29, the TUCP also filed a wage hike petition seeking a 710 peso per day across-the-board wage hike for workers in Metro Manila. An ambulance owned by the municipal government of San Fernando, Cebu, survived an ambush while in an adjacent city, Naga. The ambulance was on its way back to San Fernando on Monday night when unidentified men on board a white van peppered it with bullets. The driver, Armand Navarro, managed to outmaneuver the van and speed off to safety. Navarro suffered a gunshot wound in his left thigh, while the three other passengers were unhurt in the incident. Naga City Police Chief Major Jason Villamater said they are yet to determine the motive of the ambush. San Fernando, Cebu has been classified as an election hotspot due to poll-related violence. The National Grid Corporation of the Philippines, or NGCP, assures there will be no brownout in the Cordillera region during elections. Meanwhile, the Moro Islamic Liberation Front, or MILF, calls for peaceful elections in the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao. More on these and other stories in the provinces from Bench Bondo.
In Cordillera, the NGCP on Monday assured the Commission on Elections of continuous power supply on May 13 election day, as well as the days after the polls. However, backup batteries for vote counting machines are on standby in case a brownout still happens. The May 13 elections will start at 6 a.m. and will close at 6 p.m. In Negros Occidental, the Provincial Veterinary Office has installed new signages in points of entry across the province as part of its strengthened biosecurity measures. This is to protect the game fowl industry of the province. Records showed that from January to March this year, over 44,000 game fowls were shipped from Negros Occidental. In Cotabato City, the Moro Islamic Liberation Front, or MILF, calls on its members to help achieve peaceful and orderly elections in the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao. UBJP Secretary General Abdul Rauf Makakua on Monday said foreign nations are monitoring developments on the new political entity in Mindanao. He urged the electorate to vote to office candidates who have integrity, credibility, and good public service records. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Bench Bondo.
Up next, France expresses optimism in the potential to develop tourism in the Philippines. The Philippine Sports Commission hails the country's delegation for its successful run at the Arafura Games in Australia. The PNA Newsroom returns after these reminders.
The Environment, Tourism and Interior Departments recommended to close Boracay for 6 months.
To address issues such as illegal structures and faulty drainage systems that is affecting Boracay's prized beach.
The last time na nandito is 2017. It's actually crowded. Sobrang dami ng tao. Everywhere, makikita mo talaga bars and drinks and makalat talaga.
We had more cases of skin disease. We had more cases of diarrhea.
So nagkasama-sama lahat ng mga agencies, tiningnan ano ba ang plano natin sa Boracay, compliance on Clean Air Act, Clean Water Act, at saka yung ating environmental compliance.
When they started demolishing, we saw that there was action, that they put their money where their mouth is.
Lahat ng nagamit na tubig ng customer, we collect it through our sewer lines and then it goes through a treatment process sa treatment plant.
It was nice that it happened. Finally, Boracay got the attention it is in deep need of.
I think a lot of work was done during the closure. The water is clear, the oceans are clean, there seems to be a lot of wildlife returning. We had for the first time in 10 years, we had turtles hatching on the beach a couple of days ago.
During the closure, you could see like the eagles came back and everything that we have had for a long time.
Pumasyal pa nga yung mga kondito udanding, galing na Cebu.
In the end, it's a good thing, yes. It was hard for us, but it was also a wake-up call.
The beach was cleaned up and is officially set to reopen on October 26th.
Wala lang na kumakain sa beach, bawal nang manigarilyo.
Gumanda yung isla namin as in bumalik sa dati na ambience.
We teach kids about pollution, solid waste management, because they're the ones who will sustain all the things that we're doing now.
The country seeks to attract about 114,000 French tourists by 2020, from 74,000 French tourist arrivals last year. During the first Philippines-France Joint Working Group meeting at the DOT office in Makati on April 11, French Ambassador Nicolas Gailly said the Philippines has a huge potential as a destination for French travelers. As our slogan says, it's more fun in the Philippines, Gailly said our beautiful and welcoming country can certainly attract more tourists. However, he said that while the Philippines teams with world-class destinations, our government must consider the improvement of its accessibility to tourists. Among the topics covered in the meeting were improving air route connectivity and direct flight and the two-way tourism traffic between the two states. In our foreign news, Duchess of Sussex Meghan Markle has given birth to a boy on Monday morning. The beaming Duke of Sussex, Prince Harry, said they were absolutely thrilled with the baby's birth and they were still thinking about names for the infant. The baby boy is 7th in line to the throne behind the Prince of Wales, the Duke of Cambridge and his children, and Prince Harry. Both the mother and the baby were in good condition. In sports, the Philippine Sports Commission expressed satisfaction with the performance of the athletes who competed in the 2019 Arafura Games in Australia, held on April 27 to May 4. All 91 athletes captured 31 golds, 51 silvers, and 34 bronzes. BSC National Training Director Mark Velasco said the competition allowed the athletes to gain the much-needed international exposure they need to become national athletes. He lauded the sportsmanship traits of the Filipino athletes, particularly trickster Abigail Manzano and Muay athlete Ariel Lee Lampacan. Manzano, who captured the country's first gold in the 3,000-meter steeplechase, gave away her silver medal in the 800-meter run to Makaila Sidons of Northern Territory after Simmons finished second but was disqualified. Lampacan, meanwhile, won the Sportsmanship Award in the Muay competition after capturing the silver medal. Mental health is still misunderstood despite efforts to drum awareness. The DOH urges everyone to do their part and help persons with mental illness to understand and cope with their condition. Here's our report.
Mental health has become a buzzword, and those who deal with mental illnesses have become more open about their condition. However, persons living with such issues are still forced to bear the stigma of being ridiculed for having less than visible condition. This is why the Department of Health is urging the public to understand the condition of persons with mental health issues. DOH Undersecretary Eric Domingo says most Filipinos are embarrassed or scared to talk about their mental health concerns, but just like other diseases, mental health issues have solutions and appropriate medications. Data from the DOH show that 3.3 million Filipinos suffer from depressive disorders, with suicide rates in 2.5 males and 1.7 females per 100,000. Anxiety disorder, depression, and psychotic illnesses are a few of the many signs identified with mental health issues. While having phobias is common in most people, Domingo said that having debilitating phobias could be a sign of mental health problems. Severe homesickness and feeling heartbroken also lead to mental health issues and even suicide. To help people with mental health problems, the Department of Health launched a hotline where they can speak with counselors to get advice or referral to other professionals or hospitals nearest them. The lines are open 24 hours every day. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Janice Cave.
2 low-pressure areas were spotted early this morning near northern Luzon. Pag-asa said a low-pressure area was spotted southwest of Sinai, Ilocos Sur. Another was found east of Apari, Cagayan. Cloudy skies with scattered rains are expected over parts of Luzon. Let's now check out the weather forecast for Metro Manila and the rest of the country. Let's take another look at today's biggest stories.
Malacanang links the Liberal Party and the critics of the administration in the Oust Duterte plot. SWS survey shows joblessness in the country slightly declined. The Moro Islamic Liberation Front calls on stakeholders in the Bangsamoro region to uphold peaceful elections. And the Philippine Sports Commission hails the country's delegation at the Arafura Games in Australia.
Thank you for watching another edition of the PNA Newsroom. To check out these and other stories, visit the PNA website or follow the Philippine News Agency on Facebook and Twitter. For more stories about the government and how it serves Filipinos, look for these hashtags at all our social media platforms and websites. And that's your daily dose of latest news and information that you need to know from the PNA Newsroom. I'm Rom Dufo. Good day.